Very soon I understood that my tennis is the only way for my family to live. Roger was really the first one that he would win always. Clay, grass, indoors. So he was the one that really lifted that generation to the level where it was difficult to play against him always, anytime, at any surface.
Welcome to Tennis Insider Club. I am Borja Duran, and together with my partner, Caroline Garcia, here is where tennis stories and life conversations intersect. Join us as we uncover the untold personal journeys of the icons of the court. From laughter to life lessons, it's all here.
Do you support climate change? We know you don't, but your money probably does. Be part of the solution. Find out how you can use your money for good.
Hello, Ivan. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. So we would like to know, how did your relation with tennis started?
It started with strange, in a way, or occasional. It was end of school year, 88, when my father came to me and my brother and asked, okay, it's the time to do some sports. What do you want to do? So my brother is older than me. He said, I want to play football. Usual, right? And there was the Wimbledon on TV. There was Becker Edberg in Wimbledon, and I was like, I want to do that, right? So that was how everything started. My father was shocked because he didn't know if there were any tennis clubs where I was born in Banja Luka, and actually in the village outside of Banja Luka, which was quite complicated to bring me every day. And I was taking the bus as a kid. To really was not. I mean, now looking back, was not easy, but now at the time was the way to do it. So it was so that's how I started, quite late. I was 9 almost, so it took me quite a bit of time to catch up my generation, especially because after a couple of years I switched from two-handed to one-handed, so that I lost another 6 months of 0 matches won, and so it started slow, but I picked up quite fast with my generation.
And so this you started in Bosnia?
In Bosnia, yes. So Banja Luka is northwest part of Bosnia. It's like, if you look former country before 1991, Yugoslavia, right? Banja Luka, it's right in the middle. Right? So that's where I grew up. But then with the war and everything that we had, it was very uncomfortable for my family. My father is Catholic Croatian, my mother is Muslim, so we are coming from a mixed family, which at the time I had no idea, right? But when the tension started, I understood that we have a problem. Well, I understood, my parents did. I always say, well, but it's the parents who took all the decisions, and it was not possible to really live normally. So we had to evacuate, first with my mother and my brother. And my father had to stay behind, so he couldn't come with us. So we became refugees in 92 May. We came to Croatia in the refugee camp, and we spent 7 months there. Then we were kicked out of the refugee camp in Croatia because there was not enough room for Croatian refugees. So that was the really low point of everybody's life. And then in the meantime, not in the meantime, but back actually exactly then, my father also was able to get out with charity organizations to get out. And so we reunited as a family, November 92. And but it was, literally with it's not a joke, with 2 plastic bags in your hands and the world is yours. So that was the start. I managed to play some tennis in that period. Still, nothing serious. I went to the local club. I said, I'm here if you want some doubles with, and that's how I did basically that summer. But then the luck came in the beginning of 93. Italian club called Le Pleiadi next to Turin. Saw the invitation to help Bosnian kids and invited 10 of us to come and really pay everything for us. And that was incredible. I was offered this opportunity. My parents said, okay, I mean, of course, it's...
It was like a random selection of kids, or you were already...
There was, so in Croatia, in Umag, where there is an ATP tournament, it was a place where Bosnian kids, tennis players, they were based. So everybody kind of already escaped. So it was a kind of refugee camp for the tennis players, and they had some players there. So they were the ones who wrote this requests for invitations. So when the Italian club decided to invite 10 kids, there were not enough. So that's why they called me. I was not part of that group, but they had my contact and they contacted us. So it was incredible. I mean,
how old were you at the time?
14. So 93, I was 14. So I left April of 93. It was probably the hardest period of my life, to go without family, completely by myself, not speaking the language. 3 months I was struggling. I remember I was crying every day. It was not easy, but I understood that it's my only chance. It's an opportunity. Very quickly and very soon I understood that my tennis is the only way for my family to live.
So
and
you already saw it as an opportunity to become a...
Well, it was made clear that I understand that that's yeah, exactly. Yes, you can help us, so you do it. And so yeah, that was, I mean, the pressure that I lived with, I guess. But you know, when you're a kid, you don't think about the pressure. You just go day by day, and you use opportunity. It was incredible luck that I ended up in the best club in Europe. This club, Le Pledi, was winning back in the days. It's not anymore, this competition, but there is a club competition between the clubs in Europe, and Le Pledi was winning it. You know, there's Renzo Furlan, Cristiano Caratti, Omar Camporese. I mean, the best Italian players were in that club. I mean, incredible luck. And so I used this opportunity to really grow up and also improve my tennis. Because at that age, when I was 14, if I compare myself with the Croatian players of 79, I'm born at that generation, I was number 6, 7, right? So it was not even, top. But then after 2-3 years, I was one of the best juniors in the world. So the facilities and the quality of work there was amazing.
You think without the chance of going to Italy, you would have still made it to...
No chance.
No chance.
Zero chance. Absolutely zero chance. If we had no war, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
If we had no war, I would have normal upbringing. I would have probably somewhat normal, happy life, whatever. But I would not be here talking to you in Roland Garros. And that would not happen. Absolutely. Yeah.
Were you practicing a lot with, because you mentioned there was some pro player at this?
No, but I was too small at the time, right? But Riccardo Piatti, who was my coach later, he was coaching these guys. So that was the moment where he saw me first. I mean, we did not have, we were not in touch at the time, but that's where he knew who I was. He was there. He left, I think, the club in 95, I believe, after 2 years. So when he then, in 96, when I left the club, he then invited me to come to work with him. I mean, he knew who I was, so it was not out of the blue. And so that was already 96. I was already top junior. Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Also, I mean, even the junior career was
quite successful, right?
Well, but short.
Okay.
I mean, 96. I started to play some category. Back in the days, was like category 3, 2. And then I played I won 2 matches. I was like, wow, I can play with these guys. Top. But that was Firenze. That was March. And then I was like, boom. Then I won Prato, played the semis in Santa Croce. Bonfiglio, I didn't play well. But then Roland Garros was my first slam. I beat Nicolas Massou first round, Paradon Sričapan second round. And then I lost to Bjorn Rehnqvist. Maybe, I mean, you don't know him. He played the final later. It was a small Swedish player, very solid. It was very difficult to play against. But then in Wimbledon, I played the final in Wimbledon. So it was like everything happened very, very fast.
Very unexpected.
Very unexpected. And in fact, in Wimbledon was the first agents, sponsors, who is this guy? I had long hair. I look different. But I mean,
we need some pictures.
Yes. Well, I can send you some photos.
The Google letter.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if you're gonna find it in Google, but I have a private album. But yeah, I became bald very quickly. So tennis people don't know me with hair. 2000, 2001, I was bald already. So
And how easy was for you this transition from a very good junior to
Not
a
easy.
pro?
Not easy, because 96 or 97, I played only Australian Open as a junior at Roland Garros. Quarters I played here, and I had to retire. I was sick. But then I started my pro career. So 97, nothing. 99, 98, nothing. 99, I broke through, but it's a long 2 years.
So it took you like a couple of years of losing every week, first round.
Well, but I was between 300 and 500 ATP throughout, and I knew I had the best coach, and I could not afford any other coach. But there was the time, I have to say, that I was starting to doubt, not quitting, but if it's ever going to happen. I mean, quitting was never an option. So
It was tennis or tennis.
No, exactly. It's just that how high you're going to go. So there was, of course, with the super successful junior career, there was a time I'm going to be...
Eat the world.
Yes. But then when you start losing, then you start doubting, of course. But my coach was amazing. He was always telling me, listen, you're working hard, you're doing a good job, it's going to happen. Sooner or later, you have to be patient. And that's exactly what happened. In 99, I started with losing first 2 rounds in futures. But then win, challenger wins in Besançon from qualies. Casablanca, 250 qualies, I lost to Juan Carlos Ferrero. But then Monte Carlo got in qualies as alternate. Won pass through qualies, beat Medvedev, Kafelnikov, and then everything happened. Like junior career, everything happened in 6 months, and I broke through top 100 basically already in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And when in that time where you were adapting and struggling a bit in the lower tournament, what did you think was thing not working? And
Well,
then
it was
kind of click?
it was, I think, quite simple actually, because as a junior, my idol was Stefan Edberg. So as a junior, I was playing 7 volley, first, second serve. I was chip and charging every ball. So I was very, slicing, changing rhythm. I was making sure I break the rhythm of the opponent. When I started to work with Ricardo said, okay, go back 3 meters. Let's go 200 balls without missing, So he really white, black, white. I mean, he changed my identity completely, So that was the main reason why it took me time to really find my balance, because that's what it is. And then in the end, as a pro player, I was able to do both, right? But it took a lot of time. Yeah.
And how is it as you start winning? I guess pressure begins. You wanna want more and more.
No. I mean, pressure. I never felt I had pressure. I felt like when I broke to top 100, I felt I made it. It was I never thought that I could be top 100. So everything that happened later for me was a bonus. So I lived it that way. I lived it in a positive, oh my God, I'm now 70. Oh, I'm 50. Oh, I'm 30. So everything was like, I can't believe this is happening. That was my feeling. So when I get to 30, I got stuck from 2001 to 2004, from 21 to 25. And I felt like, okay, now I'm ready for more. I want more. And it was not happening. So that was when I had to make a couple tough decisions to hire a fitness coach. It was now it's normal. Back in the time, it was not normal. And also to change my forehand completely. Like to literally have grip like this, to have continental.
It was your decision?
It was my decision.
Okay. Your coach was agreeing with it?
He had no choice. But anyway, he agreed. I mean, I couldn't hurt with my forehand. So I said, I'm tired of this. I want to risk, and I want to change the grip completely.
It's big change.
It's huge change.
How long it took you to really perfect that?
Well, actually, it didn't took me long. I mean, I remember first week, it was literally, like this, you read you start. I mean, imagine.
Yeah, I can't. I never changed my grip, but I can relate.
Imagine
now
you
want
stay
to
one-handed
change
backhand, or
but you want to change something in your serve.
Yeah,
it's like,
imagine.
I promise I'm doing it, and your coach is like, no, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
So that was 2004. That was a big change. 2003. Well, this winter of 2003, 2004. But I was so lucky because first week in Doha, I played the final. And what it helped me in my return. Because at the time, people knew that my forehand return is bad, so they would go there, and all of a sudden, I could just flap it. And I lost to Nico Escudé. I lost the final in Doha, but I was happy because I beat Henman. I beat maybe even Seb Grosjean, but I beat some players that I didn't beat before.
Yeah, so it was
So it
also
gave
already
me-
a good confidence boost to
Yes,
do so
huge,
good with a big
huge,
change technically.
Huge. And that 2004 was a big year because then I won Olympic medal.
How was that for you?
I was incredible. That was a career-changing moment because I was 25 already. So as I told you, I was starting to doubt, okay, is this my max? I was 25, 30, 35, good ranking, but not what I wanted. So the medal was a first moment where, first of all, first big thing that I won. At the time, I had only one title in my career. I felt like, okay, I mean, I'm ready for big things. And my world opened up. I really started to believe
You
and,
became
and
more
go for
ambitious
it.
as well, yeah.
And also my game became more aggressive, I really started to go for it. I really started to be aggressive. I wanted to win things instead of waiting for people to give it to me.
It gave you more confidence as
Gave
well
me
on
absolutely.
matches to believe you can
Absolutely.
beat anyone.
Absolutely. And of course, I mean, the crucial moment in the end of that year, I got married. I mean, I know it sounds like a joke, but it's not, because I was together with my wife, I mean, already a long time. And I felt it was the right thing to do. And I felt like I became a man. That was end of 2004, and then 2005 exploded.
It was a pretty good year for you, right?
I was incredible. I was completely.
When you think marrying or like
Yeah, it was a big
becoming
change.
serious or official.
Absolutely.
Finding
I
like
felt like
stability.
exactly. I felt like
That part of your life is like already.
okay, now I'm a proper man. My life is completed. In that sense. Of course, then the kids, it's huge change, much bigger than getting married. But getting married in that moment for me was, right. I have my family. Everything is solid now.
It was kind of a balance, no?
Yes, it was a big change. And then 2005 just started to roll. I started to roll, played final every week, bam. And Davis Cup, we won Davis Cup in the end of that year. I broke this record of 11 live rubbers winning. I mean, things were just happening one after another. Of course, I still had bad moments. Usually summer, I don't play well. Again, 2005 summer, I cannot
On
play.
hard court in US?
Doesn't matter what court. I tried clay, I tried hard, I just couldn't play. And my US Open best result is third round. So I just couldn't
some
play.
tiredness, do you think? From
No, I don't know. I mean, honestly, even today, 20 years later, I cannot explain. I don't know why.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Do you think it's possible that you get tired like throughout the season?
No, it was not because I tried. I mean, I tried after
tried
Wimbledon to take a break,
okay.
to practice, to play.
Okay.
I tried everything. I just couldn't play. I mean, I played, I believe, quarters in Toronto. I mean,
nothing
okay, but
amazing
nothing
for being
no.
a top 5 player.
Yes, absolutely. I lost. I remember in Cincinnati. But also there is one thing. I really struggled in the heat. So that probably explains it a little bit, right? So I remember I lost.
It's always the wrong sport, though.
Yeah, no. Now when I see sun, I escape. Like I put the hat and I try really to avoid the
But
sun.
with tennis,
I really
90% of the year is under the sun.
That's why I played really well indoors. I won basically everything indoors that there's to win. So I loved indoors. I mean, for my game as well, but also that perfect conditions. No, but then in US Open 2005, I lost to Richard Gasquet in 5. And I remember because I had a great start of the year, I was like, can I make the Masters or not?
It was the first time you make it, no?
Well, yeah, but then after US Open, I was like, okay, I cannot make it. I was already, back then, I was like 20 in the race. It's too far, right? So I kind of relaxed. But then I went to Metz. I won Metz. I went to Vienna. I won Vienna. I went to Madrid, which was Masters 1000. I lost the final to Rafa. Amazing match. Amazing. I mean, he still talks about it. And then I went to Lyon, lost first round. Then I went to Bercy final. And so that's... Actually, I didn't qualify. I was first
9,
alternate.
no?
But then Marat Safin was injured and he pulled out. So I remember I was in my room in Bercy. Well, the phone calls, it's usually back in the days, there was not a mobile phone. I was pick up and the people from ATP Marat officially pulled out. You qualify. I mean, I cried like incredible emotions to qualify for the third Masters.
At the beginning of the year, it was your goal, or
no, not at all. I was 25. I mean, I was.
It's also the moment now where Roger is shining. There's a young guy called Rafa, and also coming.
Well, I mean, the doors were. I mean, the 4 or 5 spots were always locked, right? It was really to qualify for the Masters. You have 2 spots, in those years. So it was not, something normal. That and then 2000s. Then in the end of that year, so we won the Davis Cup as well in Bratislava, which was a huge event back when we came back to Croatia. There was, I believe, 80,000 people waiting for us. It was a huge event. And then I was so tired, I took off 2 weeks. And that was already like 20 December. So I said, okay, I'm going to Australia direct. No chance that I'm going to, no tournaments before, nothing. So I started to practice a couple days before Christmas. And I got a phone call from Chennai tournament that Rafa pulled out. Would you want to play? And of course, good offer. And I was like, but I have 0 days of practice, 0, right? And my coach said, well, how do you? I said, I don't know. I feel like going. And I won the tournament, but blisters everywhere. I mean, anyway, so that was then quarters in Australia, the only slam that I had the chance maybe to win. I came back to Croatia, won the ATP in Zagreb. I mean, started rolling. That was the golden moment, 2005-06 of my career. Yeah, and I think I played also finally in Miami to Roger, 3 tiebreaks. I mean, was the best moment of my career.
But still, your biggest moment came a few years later in 2010, right? When you
Indian Wells, yes, that was very unexpected. I mean, in Indian Wells, I always played my best tennis. I love the conditions. It's a little bit like indoors, where the ball goes really fast through the air, but the surface is slow. So not for some reason, but that really, for my game, was ideal, because with the serve, I was hurting a lot. The balls are flying fast. And on the return, I had a little bit more time. And also the kick and the spin and the slice, the spins that I used to really put my opponents in uncomfortable position on those surfaces, in those conditions, are the best. So 2010, I came to Indian Wells. I played all right.
What ranking were you?
20. But it was, I kind of, in those years, I went back to my ranking. There was like 20, 25. And I remember Brian, I don't remember now what the match is, but the 4th round I played Novak. It was the moment where he was struggling with his serve, so I was really attacking his serve, tried to not to that he doesn't play. That was the only goal. Okay, he cannot play, so just I was coming to the net, hitting, just no rallies. So I won against him quarters Juan Monaco. I lost. I remember I was like, oh, it's a great opportunity. It's quarters against Monaco. He's a good player, but
you have your chance.
You have my chance. So I lost the first set, but then I won 6-1, 6-2 the third and fourth, second and the third, and then Rafa in semis. Middle of the day, windy, tough conditions. He won the first. I really felt like, okay, I mean, it's tough. I mean, he loved those conditions as well, because his spinny forehand, he was always going over my head. But I won 7-6 in the third, and then Andy Roddick in the final. So again, 7-6, 7-6. We played so many tiebreaks, Andy and I. I mean, it's...
How was it for you? Like after 5 years now of making it to the top 10 and being...
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
When you were already in your 30s, no? 30
31. I was 31, and I played 3 finals in the 1000s. So I felt like, that's it. I'm not going to win it. So, but I felt like, okay, it's the right thing. I felt like it was I felt like I deserved. I played, well in many, many masters that I've, Rafa 7-6 in the 5th in Madrid, Thomas Berdych 6-4 in the 5th. I felt like when Roger in Miami 7-6, 7-6, 7-6, I felt I really deserved one title. And in the end, it came when I least expected.
And you were also a bit between couple of generation with like Agassi.
Yes, I played.
Agassi,
I played Andre
and after Roger, Rafa, Djokovic, Roddick. How did you feel some changes? Like the new what did you feel difference between?
The biggest difference I felt like is that Roger was the one who brought it in, was consistency, like playing every week to win. Because the generation before, Agassi, Sampras, these guys, they would come on clay. They would not really play every week. And some weeks they would be fully on, other ones they would just show up. It was not really like all the time. Roger was really the first one that he would win always. Clay, grass, indoors. So he was the one that really lifted that generation to the level where it was difficult to play against him always, anytime, at any surface. And that was, I think, the biggest. And of course, the physicality that came later. But the way he was moving, the way he was covering the court with Leighton Hewitt, Juan Carlos Ferrero, and Albania, and these guys, they were super solid, no weaknesses in the game. That was probably another big thing. There were no weaknesses. They didn't have any weakness. With Agassi, you knew that if you kick, that he was covering. If you serve close to the lines, it's ace. Sampras, of course, backhand is a weakness. If you go high, like with this older generation, Marc Rosset, you knew that forehand is big, backhand is not.
It was more obvious.
It was obvious,
tactical.
technical. There was technical hole in each. But then this generation came, there was no holes. So you had to find the way to play them. And for me, it was not easy.
Did you had one worst opponent?
Yes, well, David Ferrer for me was painful. It was
painful to a lot of
A
players.
lot of players. I managed to beat him first time we played, but because he was a kid. And then I lost, I believe, 6 or 7 times. But 3 sets, whatever. But I never felt I had a chance. He was returning well. He was always moving me around. His backhand was always like flat, so low, so I couldn't really attack. I couldn't do anything. So he was the worst opponent of this generation. The one before was Jiri Novak. Maybe you don't. So when I was young, upcoming, I played, I think, I believe I played him 3 or 4 times. I never got to 4 in any set. It was impossible. And he was not like flashy, it's like Jiri Novak. He was number 4 in the world, I believe. It was just complicated. He was a great player. He just knew what to do, when to do, and you, all of a sudden you just can't do anything. It was rough for me. But luckily he retired very quickly, so I didn't have to play him a lot.
And then 2012, it came your retirement. How did you take that decision?
Well, I had doubts. I started to think about it in 11. I had a bad loss in Miami in 2011, and I started to... But, just quickly, when you look at the trophy ceremony in 2010 in Indian Wells, Andy Roddick talks about locker room talk that I'm going to retire, which I don't remember. But there is something that it must have... So
yeah, there was some discussion.
There was some, so I don't remember that. I remember in 11 that I was, okay, because, also Miami, it's a moment where clay court is coming.
Is it because you think you cannot perform at the highest level anymore? Or
yes,
you were just
there were multiple things. My daughter was born in the end of that 11, but already, so we knew that my wife was pregnant in Miami into 11. So traveling with 2 kids, I didn't want to leave my family behind. I was 25, 30, and the prize monies were not the prize monies of today. So basically, I was not making any money. So it was like, I couldn't win big tournaments. I knew that. That was the time, the best time is over. I had problems with my ankles. So, it's a combination of things. After the tough loss in Miami, in 11, I had these doubts. I spoke to my wife, and she secretly... She called Roger and said, Roger, I need you. Like, you need to come and speak to Ivan because he's having weird thoughts. And Roger did. He came to my hotel. So I didn't expect. He like, let's go have a coffee. I was like, what are you doing here? So we started to talk, and he talked me into like, it's not the moment. If you really want to retire, absolutely. But he said, I don't think it's the moment. But it's your, So he bought me another year, right? So, which I played well. The first tournament I remember in Monte Carlo, I played quarters. He was watching my matches, and it was nice, And then I had okay 2011 year. I would probably feel now too soon. It would have been a year too soon, honestly. And then 11, my daughter was born, and then.
I think it's good to give yourself also like a whole year to like, no, okay, this is going to be my last year. I want to enjoy.
I didn't feel that. When I decided to continue, I said, okay, I continue. I didn't have a deadline.
Okay.
Right.
So it was not that 2012 is going to be your last.
No, it wasn't. But in the end of 11, my wife was 8 months pregnant, and it was like, there was a moment where she was about to give birth, and I was in Basel, the tournament before Bercy. So I didn't play, basically. I ran fast back to be there. I was there for my son first, so I wanted to be there also for my daughter. But then the delivery date was later, was 4 weeks later, and she managed to kind of got those 4 weeks. So those 4 weeks we were just there waiting. I didn't practice. I was playing with my son, but we were waiting. So when my daughter was born, then with 2 kids... I had to take care of one of them. So another 2-3 weeks I didn't practice. So it was like 7 weeks, 8 weeks where I did nothing. And then I practiced a couple of weeks, and I went to Australia, and I was completely out of shape.
And
completely.
That's when you knew?
Well, that's what I felt like. And now I was far a year before. Now I'm very far from like acceptable level. So I played a couple more tournaments, and then in Dubai, I came with the family to Dubai, and I lost first round. And so the plan was that I would stay practice there for another week, and then I would fly to India Wells, and my family will not come with me because it's just too complicated. They will fly back home. So I stayed there for five more days, and the day before I was supposed to fly, I woke up at 4 a.m. And I was like, it's over. That's it.
I don't want to do it anymore.
That's it. And I woke up my wife. She's on this side always. I said, it's over. And she understood. She didn't try to talk me into it. And so we got up, we got a coffee, and so how do we do it? Because then, okay, one decision, it's over, but how do we do it, right? So is it over? Do you play another tournament? How do we announce it?
Mm-hmm.
So, that whole day. But then we decided to talk to my coach and my team in the end of the day. So we, at the dinner, we're going to tell them. And that day I had 2 practices, fitness, like that was the worst day of my life.
Nobody was seeing it coming.
I mean, and so I remember the first practice was bad, as you can imagine. So in my mind, I was gone. And my coach later, he told me that at the lunchtime, he spoke with my fitness coach, said, we have to do something. Ivan is empty. We need to motivate him. We need to, it's something's bad. We need to talk to him. And then second practice, and then in the evening, obviously, I told him, and he said, okay, now I know why you were completely out of. So yeah, and then the decision was to play Monte Carlo, because Monte Carlo is a place where I lived, my first big result, and to kind of I don't know honestly now looking back if I would have done it again to play that, because the idea is great to kind of say bye to everybody. And I loved the locker room. I had a standing ovation in the locker room. The players really appreciated what I did for the game, also politically. I mean, we don't have time to talk about that. But my time on court was not enjoyable. I really didn't enjoy it at all. I lost 6-love first set. So I was like, oh my God. So I have to fight for a game now, not to be embarrassed. Imagine losing love first, last match.
I don't imagine that.
So and I started to be upset, pissed. Like, no, this is not the way I wanted to be my last match. So I had to go back and start to play defensive just to win a couple games.
Why that?
Ivan Dodig, my countryman, worse than all. I mean, but for me, the worst part is that everybody in the locker room knew that I'm going out there to say bye to everybody. I'm not trying to win. I'm, So I have no idea why. We never actually talked about it, but I have no idea why he tried so hard to embarrass me out there, because it was, but anyway.
There was no need.
No, absolutely. But I don't know if I would have done it again.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's done.
Yeah,
I was happy to, to appreciation from the players that I got.
Yeah.
And
say goodbye to this.
It was nice. Yes, absolutely.
Was it scary for you?
No.
To leave tennis?
Not at all. Not at all, because I prepared it.
Okay. How?
I worked with a Swiss company that prepares athletes for retirement. Last 3 years of my career. Daniel Mayer is the name of the gentleman. I mean, I don't know if he's going to listen to this, but he did an amazing job. He really helped me a lot to understand who I am, actually, what kind of, in the business world, what kind of, how to say, am I a leader? Am I a follower? Am I, do I function better working for somebody, or am I function better as a boss? And these things, he really helped me a lot. And so I was not, of course you are concerned, because I always said, when you stop your career, it's jumping out of the window. So there's no way up. It's down. If you're lucky, it's 1 floor. If you're not lucky, it's 5, 6, 7 floors, but it's downfall. It's downgrade in terms of, definitely financially, because but also what you don't know what's coming, right? So of course you can build yourself up, maybe even to the maybe higher
for sure
levels of where you were.
It's gonna take some time,
but you're definitely gonna start from maybe not from the bottom, but from the lower floors that the players are top of the world, highest possible level, Grand Slams, that, and then you have to accept the fact that you are not qualified, whatever you do, and this is, I think, very important. Whatever you're going to do after your career, you're not qualified to start from the top.
Yeah, you're not as good as you were in tennis.
Exactly.
No, you
Yeah.
have
And
to
this is
learn
something that a lot of players don't understand.
I think it's also a good opportunity to improve as a human. No, it will teach you
Yes, it gives
humility,
you
hard
time.
working, and
Gives you family time, gives you time. Obviously, I was incredible. At the moment I walked off the court in Monte Carlo, I was approached by Sky Italia
Okay.
to do something for them. So I had literally 3 seconds of not knowing
Unemployed.
what I'm gonna do.
So
But
before the actual moment, you had a clear idea of what you wanted to
no,
do?
no, zero,
You
absolutely
wanted
not.
to take some time.
So what we had as a family, we decided we're gonna stay in Monaco.
Yeah.
That was the decision we had to make because at the time, kids more small, 3 and 1 or 3 and few months. So no school, no job, like you're literally free to do whatever you want and go whatever you want. So we decided as a family we're gonna stay in Monaco for 3 years. That was the commitment. And then we see how things will evolve, how it's gonna go. And then that was the decision. And then I didn't know what was gonna happen. And then obviously then the whole world opened up because a lot happened.
So the transition was quite fast, right? Like
Was
after a
fast,
few months
was
already.
rich, was incredible. TV, of course, is there and still there when I want, and I'm thankful and I love my experience with Sky Italia. But there was the moment where I was coaching Roger. I didn't do it because I think it's not compatible. Even now that I work with FFT, I do 1 or 2 weeks. I mean, literally, it's not. With some jobs it's compatible, with others it's not.
Yeah, and there's no need to put conflict of interest. No,
But it's not even the conflict. I mean, if you comment tennis matches, it's not a conflict with the work that you do, but it's just my time. It's time consuming, and I feel like now, I mean, I want to try to give my time to French tennis as much as I can. That's basically where we are today. But anyway, so then I had management, then I had coaching. I tried a lot of things.
You were managing Verdic, no?
Verdic was my first client in 2013. Started the managing him, but also out of nowhere he called me up. He said my Nike contract is expiring. Can you help me out? And my former manager said maybe you can help him. I think it started really occasionally. I knew that Thomas Johansson, who's in Monaco, he was working with H&M. So he was looking, so I just connected the dots, So it worked out really well. So I started to work with him, and that management business then developed later into also trying to help out the youngsters, and which I then stopped a year and a half ago, I believe. Yes, a year and a half ago, because it became very stressful. At the time, idea is good. I think still there is a room for management, good management companies. There is a lot of competition out there, but still, I think if you do the good job, you're gonna be appreciated. But I stopped this year and a half ago, and then the coaching, of course, came along as well, which was
You started with Raonic, right?
Raonic,
How did
yes.
it start? The fact of
my former agent was his agent. So when he stopped with Gallo Blanco back in the days, they called me up to come to Rome to speak to Milos, and so I flew down to Rome and I spoke to him, and I just told him general idea what I see his game and how I see things, and he asked me my availability. I said 52 weeks. I mean, I felt like if I'm gonna coach, I have to prove that I can do it, right? And I don't I give this advice to all the former players: don't come in with I can do 15 weeks, I can do 20 weeks.
Go in.
I mean, once you prove yourself and your player and everybody you can do the job, then later you're gonna start organize yourself. But you cannot start this with how many weeks, and it doesn't work like that. At least that's how I saw it. So we started in Roland Garros, was the first tournament. It was tough beginning. Then Graz, where you would think he was gonna kill everybody, lost first round in Halle to Gael, first round in Eastbourne to, I believe, Dodig again, and then second round Wimbledon, right? So I thought, okay, I mean, this testing period didn't work out, that's it. So after Wimbledon, we sat down and we spoke and we said, okay, so I told him, I don't know what you're thinking, but for me, in order to continue, I'm ready to put my time and my everything in, but I need the fitness coach who is full-time with you, because he had the Spanish fitness coach who was great and still is, but he was not available to travel with him full-time. So I said, we need fitness full-time. We need, a couple other things. If you think that I can do the job, and if you are ready to do this," and he was amazing. He was like, "No problem." He'd pick up the phone, pop, let's go. I mean, that was crazy. And I loved that, like, Milos was very, very clear in his mind what he wants and what he doesn't want.
And for you to start as a coach after being a great player, how was it to be like on the other side?
Was weird.
Did you try to improve? Did you take experience from Piatti?
Yes, of course. I mean, of course, I used a lot of that. And Ricardo is one of the biggest and the best coaches that forms the players, So Ricardo, obviously, I learned a lot from him. Combination with my playing experience, I think is great. But you have to put yourself in a position still to learn. I spoke a lot to Paul Anacon. I spoke, to like great coaches, just to listen, to learn, because it's a different job.
Yeah, you can be a great tennis player.
You are not in a
coach.
spotlight anymore. It's not about you. It's so not about you. It's about the player, right? So if you and I hate to when the people say, "Yeah, you had a big serve, so you can help big servers." I was like, "Yeah, but it doesn't work like that." Or "You played well on clay, so you can help players on clay." No, I mean, tennis is tennis. Or you understand or you don't understand. It's not,
If that was the case, I would be already a pro after all the time seeing Caro play.
Right.
But unfortunately, I'm not.
And there is a lot of misunderstanding
I'm
in
not
this
catching
way.
up.
Like, what do you know about tennis? So I played on every surface. I'm open still today to learn, and I'm happy to get to know more. And in combination, as I said, I always said, as a former player who was top 3 and winning important things, I think this combo is great. And I enjoy it, right? So I really did enjoy it with Milos 2.5 years. And then, of course, with Roger, 6.5. Well, actually, it was less because he was injured in the last period. But then, I mean, talking about learning things, I learned a lot from that. I mean, that was incredible experience for me. I was happy to be able also to give a little bit to him because obviously, I mean, he knows tennis more than me. And we spoke about it when at the beginning he said, I know tennis more than you. I still, he was humble enough to really, when he chooses the coach, I'm in for you, you're the boss. And that was amazing experience.
Was it easier for you to start working with him? Because at the end, you're more or less same age. As
Yes.
you say, no, you were always playing with him and he was always better, right?
Yes, was quite simple. It was weird in a way that he was Roger Federer, and also the magnitude of his world, it was so big that I had to adapt, and it was not easy. But
in which way? What do you mean?
He's how busy he is and the amount of things he has to do every day, and he does, and the speed that he functions, and it's just you need to adapt. It's really a lot. But tennis as such was very easy because we spoke about tennis a lot. We were friends before. He also called me before we worked together, asked me advice. So he knew how I see tennis. So there was no testing period. It was, okay, we work together, right? So in tennis sense was quite simple. It was not complicated at all. I had a clear idea what I think he should do. So that helped. And obviously then, didn't work out right away. People think, okay, it's immediately, but no.
There's no magic in life.
There's no magic in life. 16, he hurt his knee. He got first surgery. He didn't play until clay. Clay was bad. He hurt his back. Went to Wimbledon. The knee was swelling. Lost to Milos Raonic, who I was coaching. Is always like this.
Always.
In semis.
In your face.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the first tournament with Roger was Brisbane. He lost the final to Milos.
Oh, no.
No, but it's
Right?
always
It's
the
a
same
classic,
story.
right?
Classic.
And then after Wimbledon, he decided, okay, 6 months off. We need to fix this knee. He was not injured, but it was not functioning well. So that was the biggest and the most important decision that was made, I think, in his career, because it gave us 6 months of practice. And he took off. Of course, you have time. He went out for the vacation with his family, but then August, fitness. And then we started with tennis end of September. So we had time to build everything that then you saw that happened in 17 and 18. And then magic happened. But hard work came before that.
Do you think, so after this experience of the 6 months, obviously it was at first to start to heal an injury. But do you think in tennis, or maybe it's too intense and you don't have time to work on anything really? And like this, you saw like big changes happen after when you have time.
I think, well, absolutely. I mean, now with my work at the French Federation, I'm trying to share my experience and knowledge about practice. I think importance of weeks off and practice is huge. I honestly here in France don't feel that there is this culture of build up, play, build up, play. You know, it's play, week off, play, week off, play, and okay, but you don't give yourself time to improve. Right. And so, and I'm talking about physical, I'm talking about technical, I'm talking about strategical. You just don't have time. And I was like that as a player because Ricardo was very old school, end of the season, 6 weeks, no matter what, first 2 weeks fitness only. And then it was very, and I think now your question was, is it today like it is the way you want it to be, right? Because you can choose. Of course, you have to pay the price and, maybe you're going to give up some money somewhere else. But I do believe strongly that without proper practice and build up, there's no progress. And this is, your results can go up because you gain experience, confidence. But if your progress doesn't follow, then it's going to go down and then it's going to go up. And then there is no consistent build up. And this is where these top players, if you look at scheduling of the big three,
they're being wise with their schedule.
I mean,
so like I think one of the things that surprised me a lot is like when players are not playing well, instead of stopping to practice and try to change, they start playing more tournaments and they start losing even in more first round, second rounds, which is not helping.
Well, for me, the way to kind of attack this subject, imagine now Sinner or whatever, who is the best in the world, and girls, I mean, Sabalenka, you name it, Swiatek, doesn't matter. Doesn't play for a year. Ranking 0. But she's fit and healthy. She practiced for a year. Is it a problem? It's going to take no time to bring the ranking up because the level is there. So it's all about the level. Of course that, if you are ranked 30 or 80, it's different because it is. But if you are 80, there is a reason why you're 80. There's something, wrong. I mean, if you have been in top 10 and you're 80, there's something wrong. And I believe that if you're in doubt, when you don't know what to do, take time off. Practice. Get better, get stronger, get your mind clear.
And at the end of ranking, you can recover it quite fast also.
Ranking is nothing. Ranking is a result of your level.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you work on your level, results will come and the points will come. But the problem is that if you kind of chase always something, you never work on that. And I hate when the players say, I'm going to go play the tournament and I'll practice there. You don't practice at the tournaments. And these now new rules with the 2 weeks tournaments, it's making it even more difficult. Because the day between 2 matches,
you won't train 3 hours.
It's not a day off. It's definitely not a day off. So it's going to be even more difficult but that's why maybe it's an opportunity to make a difference by making this commitment.
With your time with Roger, what is the biggest thing you learned as a coach or as a person? Or what was the thing that impressed you more?
With him?
Yeah.
The amount of energy he has. It's just insane. Amount of energy and how quick he is in terms of switching from one topic to another. He's just fast. And also, if he talks to you, he's here with you. And you ask him 2 years down the road, what was the conversation that we had 2 years ago? He will tell you exactly what was the conversation. He's always present. And that allows him to do a lot of things. And that was, by far the most impressive things. I mean, amount of things he's able to do with quality in one day.
So would you say like his life was not only about tennis?
It was definitely not about tennis.
It's a very interesting topic, no? And most of the times when we talk even with other players, they assume, no, that Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, it's only about tennis, and that's why they're at the top, no? And with like for me, when I saw Roger, no, with a big family, and it looked like there was like much more, no, than just tennis for him.
No, I mean it's definitely not about tennis. I mean, of course, the strength of the focus when he's on court is incredible, and that allows you to focus also on other things outside of the court, right? So yes, of course it's about tennis, and of course all the decisions are made for the best of his career. But once we are done with the practice, if I have something to tell him about practice, I tell him in the car on the way back. We go back, and then but it's not like if I have a topic to talk about, if there is a match I want him to see, I tell him, and then we watch. But if not, then of course, then the family, the business, the sponsors. I mean, his world, it's still today, it's very busy, and so there is a periods where at the tournaments it's all about tennis. At the periods our TV was always on, matches we watched, everything from juniors to wheelchair to girls doubles, everything we watched, because we just love tennis and we just share. And that's another way of coaching. You share what you see. And that was for me the most. I mean, imagine watching tennis with him and discussing what you see. And for me, that was also, I had that with Boris Becker last year in during Wimbledon final. When you watch with somebody who sees the same things, it's so relaxing.
You need to spend all your energy
and
explaining.
that there's like literally one little movement of Djokovic backhand return, and I was like, Boris, I said, yes, I saw it. It's like it's so enjoyable. It's so enjoyable. Yes.
Going back a bit, but during your career, you say you were always traveling with your family, and it was very important for you, and also it was why also maybe you stopped. What did it bring you to bring the family all together? Do you think it helped you cope with all the travel, with tennis and?
Well, it's my family.
Yeah.
So,
no, I know, but
Yeah, but some people like some.
No, but I didn't travel every week, but you try the most a week. You have a choice that your kids are there. It's your family, so you have a choice to completely is isolate yourself and ignore, or what we did is that I did sleep in a separate room, during the tournaments from my small kids, because I had to have a sleep. By the way, Roger was
Always sleeping with the kids.
So
well, it looks like it kind of worked
yeah,
out.
no, but anyway, the energy he had, I don't know, I don't know how he did it, how he did it.
Maybe it's that, no? Maybe it's the joy of also like being with the family and recharging
Bring
batteries
something.
that makes him want to play tourneys, no?
Yeah, he loved him still today. He loves the tour. He loves tennis. He loves everything that for him was not. He just enjoyed it. And in fact, for him to stop, why it was so painful, because he loved it so much. And it's not. Trust me, it's not only about success. It's not about winning. Of course, once you're on court and
Well, it's love for the game.
it's love for it's literally love. If there was a tennis racket there and the ball there, if he was here, he would pick up the racket and the ball he would hit against the wall. That's how much he loves it.
It's probably one of the keys of his success, loving it.
Long term success, like
Yes,
very
longevity.
longevity.
Yes,
Because when you love what you're doing, it's easy to do it
It's not a
every
job.
day.
It's not a job.
Exactly.
And there was a moment of I had in my career where you have to really sit down and say, okay, this is now heavy. I need to make it enjoyable. Whatever that is. Take a week off, 2, 3, or listen, I'm going to stay in the best hotel in town for the next month because I want to have a good time. Or I'm going to practice 45 minutes a day, but it's going to be 45 minutes of absolute 100% like there are ways to make it enjoyable.
Was it hard for you to, like, as you say, take 2 weeks off? Were you feeling guilty about it, or you were understanding very well that I need this in order to not burn out?
Well, it was quite easy. When you do it, you feel it's the right thing, right? It's unless or you just don't do it, right? But Ricardo was my coach, and he was the one who knew me so well. That's why I never changed the coach, because I felt having somebody who knows me so well next to me was more important than looking for
Technicality.
something that I don't know what it is, because I didn't know, right? And at the time, we didn't have those two coaches thing that it's modern these days. Back in the days, there was like, oh, you change the coach or you don't. There was no two coaching thing. So maybe now I would have probably maybe add somebody just to get another experience. Yeah. But back in the days, that didn't exist.
I'd love to know, like, what advice would you tell to younger kids coming up that are 15, 16, starting to play juniors? What would be your advice to them?
Well, learn to play tennis. And that's don't run after results. It's about knowing the game. It's about getting in touch with the game, really feeling part of it. What we don't have these days is watching tennis on the stands, and this is something that I think I see occasionally kids watching and cheering for their friends. Playing doubles, it's important at young age, super important, because otherwise you feel lonely, you feel isolated, you feel completely, not part of the community. So, but I think at that age, if we talk about 14, 15, 16, it's learning, it's getting in. And that's where probably is the moment where you start putting volume, 15, 16. Well, with the girls, maybe a little bit earlier as well. But with the guys, 15, 16 is the moment where you start, okay, now we go for it, right? It's my son is 15 now. He's playing tennis, and now is the time to okay, let's accelerate, right? And
are you happy?
No.
About him playing tennis?
No.
No, why is it that everyone loves this sport, but when we ask
no, I suffer. I suffer. He knows. I'm joking. I mean, of course, I enjoy watching him play, but from a little bit far away.
You're not involved day to day.
I mean, I'm there. If he needs me, I'm there. He needs me, and I'm coming to watch his practices. I suffer watching matches. Yeah. What I realized is that I am not objective when I see him, and so for me it's a sign, stay away. So and it gives me actually even more reason to speak to parents and tell them, listen, if I, with my experience and everything that I went through, if I'm not objective, you're probably also not objective. So give professionals things to do. Find person you trust and give professionals, especially at that age. I mean, there is a thing, maybe talking quickly about parents. At the young age, parents are the most important part of everybody's life, up until a certain age. The role of a parent changes throughout the time. The difficult part for the parents is to understand when that moment is and how to do it. I don't think it's the way to let go and disappear, but change the role because the father of 12-year-old and the father of 16-year-old, it's not the same role. And the father of 25 years old, it's not the same role. So this is where the magic happens. This is where Federer parents did an incredible job, where Rafa's parents, I assume, I mean, Roger's I know, but I assume is that really understanding the role. And another thing is that what the parents mostly at the highest level struggle with is that giving power to the kid, it's not leaving control, but it's making them grow. And letting kids make mistakes, it's helping them grow. It's not if you protect them too much, you're not helping them grow.
Well, they will still be a baby when they're 30. They will not be.
But not only that, but even like throughout their career, it's how do you learn? It's by making mistakes. You cannot learn by doing always what others are telling you to do. Yes, you learn a little bit, but it's different power that you learn. And this is something that I see, and I try to give example. I saw Real Madrid games, hundreds of thousands of games. Doesn't mean I can coach Real Madrid. Doesn't mean I know how to manage Real Madrid, right? And yes, of course, this one.
I mean, I can be in all the practices of Caro, but I will never give advice.
If my son is finishing medical school and he's going to be a surgeon, what am I going to tell him how to do the surgery or which patient to take and which patient not to take? I mean,
even if you were a good surgeon, maybe you're not a good teacher of surgeons.
And in the sports, not only tennis, in the sports, for some reason, this is not how people think. They think that because, I'm with somebody for a long time, I know what he needs. Because I am 45 today.
But maybe it's because they are the ones who really want that success.
What I get a lot is that the parents say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know. I also don't know who knows. So I prefer that I make the mistake than somebody else. Yeah, but it's, And another thing what I tried to say is that I'm 45. I have seen 30 generations of 15-year-old. 30. So it's not that, of course, I was 15, but I saw the 15 when I was 16. I saw the 15 when I was 25. So I have seen 30 generation. So
I know one thing or two.
maybe, and again, everybody's going to make mistakes, but there is a big chance that people who have seen 30 generations are going to make less mistakes and going to be able to help a bit more than somebody who is living it for the first time with somebody. But that's the tough part of
The part of after being a pro player, coach, and everything, you're not. When you see your son, it's and you don't
It's
get
hard.
objective. It's like
It's hard. I cannot like, and I hate myself when I'm upset with him, and that's why I try to not. I don't want to be upset with him. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, he's playing tennis. It's not like he's saving lives.
The healthiest thing you can do is stay as what you are, which is his father.
Yes, exactly.
Which is
So I give him
a pretty
advice.
big
He
responsibility.
asks me advice. I give him advice. I surround him with the quality people. That's what I can do. And, I'm there for him. He knows I'm there for him. But that I'm going to maybe play one day with him or 2 days. It doesn't, but it's not me who is,
You are the
in
father,
there
and
for- yes.
let a coach be the coach.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you're looking for another tennis podcast to listen to, check out Tennis Channel Inside In, a weekly show hosted by Mitch Mickles that covers the ins and outs of the pro game. It features top-notch analysis from some of the best TV commentators and journalists in the sport, as well as interviews with current and former tennis players. Search Tennis Channel Inside In on all of your favorite podcast platforms to listen and subscribe.
Well, I think we can live with this great advice.
yeah.
Well, we just need to ask you, who would you like to hear on the podcast? Whose story you would like to know?
A man
more
and a
about?
woman,
What?
player or ex-player or
Okay.
Or coach,
yeah.
or
but-
father of player.
Well, let me think. I think what would be interesting. Have you had Martina Navratilova?
No.
I interviewed her last year in Italy. She's amazing. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, Steffi Graf, Martina, but one of those legends. I think Steffi maybe even more so. Martina is doing some TV commentary, so we hear from her. But Steffi,
Yes, she's quite private.
she's very private, and I think she has a lot to say. How she, I mean, also this transition from, I think she has a lot to say. On the men's side, going maybe into the same direction, and good luck getting to him, is Pete Sampras. He doesn't speak. He
Well,
doesn't
the
speak.
two that you mentioned, they are like so private.
I mean, if you want, I can give you first alternates.
Roger. Good luck with that. no?
And Serena.
Same, they are good
Well,
to reach.
what we didn't say is that the people you nominate, you are the one in charge of bringing
okay.
them. So good luck, Ivan.
Okay,
Awesome,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
It was a great conversation.
Yes,
I
it
had
was
so
very
much fun.
interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Thank you very much for listening to our podcast. Stay tuned for our next episodes, and in the meantime, it would mean the world to us if you can hit the subscribe button on the platform where you're listening to our podcast, and also if you can leave a positive review, it will help us reach new people. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
See you soon.